You are about to witness bodily dismemberment, sub-zero temperatures, and all-out mayhem. Brought to you by the Frontline Network.
Sup, UH fans, and welcome to episode 2 of Frontline Fatalities Season 3, brought to you by the Frontline Network, presented by me, FatalSaint, and my good friend Tommy. The dynamic duo is back in action. What's up, Tommy?
Well, what's up, Fatal? It's been a long time coming. I've been away for close to a month, traveling around Europe. Finally back to Company of Heroes 2. Very glad to be back and bringing the action once again. We had quite a lengthy hiatus from our regular shoutcasting schedule after we had our huge blowout in the TFM World Championships. Of course, huge congratulations to our winner Aimstrong for clutching through and grabbing his $1,000 cash prize at the end of that. The man himself has gone into hibernation, they say, gone into to a Viking training camp where he is practicing for his next big title. But today we are going to be bringing you a game that was played fairly recently between two somewhat known players. Some of you may know them, some of you may not. We have, from the German side, we have Puco. Who do we have from the Soviet side?
We actually have someone representing WMD, our clan, mine and Tommy's clan. Where's my demo? And that's Spanky. So he will be playing the Soviets against Puco's Germans on Minsk Pocket. We had this in our tournament in one of the earlier rounds. I think round 3, maybe 4. I can't remember.
Yes, we did have one of the
but
early rounds, and we shoutcasted some of the games as well. We livecasted some good games, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully this will be another one of those. So we're at the 5-second mark. You ready to go, Tommy? You want to count me in?
I'm ready. Yep, let's be unpausing in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And something just exploded over here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it keeps doing that. I think it's the same thing on one of the Kolodny maps. If it's the winter or the summer version, I don't know. But it's one of the trucks that just explodes. So
yeah, it sounded like
odd.
something falling down or like some crates falling over.
I don't know exactly what's going on, but yeah, sometimes it does that funky stuff. It's quite funny, actually. Tier 1 up for the Germans, I see, and Tier 2 coming up for Spanky. So he will most likely go for that juicy Maxims. But this was a game played after the latest patch, which was actually July 10th. But when this shoutcast goes out, there's going to be another patch. So not exactly sure if that the new patch actually affects the Maxims, but the Maxims were affected, compared to the closed beta and the early retail. So the Maxim has been changed. It was tweaked, basically.
Yeah, because I believe that sort of when people first began experimenting with just spamming Maxims, they realized actually it was incredibly overpowered because you had a 6-man squad, which was healthy. It couldn't be killed by a sniper, and it was packing this really powerful suppression tool. And
it's a 5-man conscript squad with an MG.
Yeah, I mean, I heard all these horror stories about German players being base pinned by Maxim spam. It sounded horrendous.
Yeah, that happened. But yeah, now I find I've been playing with them recently myself, especially in team games. One player goes tier 1 for M3s and snipers, for example, as the Soviets, and one player goes tier 2. And I usually go for the Maxims and tier 2. And you can still make them work. But it's just not that easy anymore. They don't seem to be pinning quite that effectively like they did before. They never pinned just like the MG42, which it suppresses, 2 bullets and the unit gets suppressed.
Well, one burst suppresses, the next one pins. That's generally how it goes.
Yeah, and now it's almost, sometimes, especially if you're running in no cover or negative cover, it's barely a full burst to pin a conscript squad. So it's nothing like the MG42, but the Maxim, obviously with the systems for suppression and pinned, and especially, modifiers to damage, etc., the Maxim generally doesn't pin that fast, so you still do more damage with the Maxim compared to the MG42, because that just, insta-pins, and for the first 10 seconds, you take reduced damage, but after 10 seconds, you start taking increased
start taking
damage.
a lot of
So you
damage,
can do
yeah.
more damage. Yeah, you can do a lot of damage with the MG42, but you gotta wait for that initial buff to run off from being pinned, compared to the Maxim, where it's basically suppressed. But at the same time, then you have obviously the problem of the enemy squad that you're just suppressing, but you can't actually pin them. They crawl up to you and then they rifle nade you in the face, and that's not fun either, because then you start losing men and you get bundle naded, especially if the squad clumps up, which they do sometimes. Sometimes all guys can stand in a corner of a brick wall or something, or a stone wall somewhere, and you can almost lose an entire Maxim from one rifle nade.
And here comes the first Maxim, opens up at a Grenadier squad at long range, but actually doesn't hit anything but thin air.
Yeah, he's moving up again, he's trying to set up, and the Grenadiers are basically standing right in front of it, the arc of fire. He's not going to be able to crawl out, but the second Grenadier squad is coming into the flank, so this is the first... Now Puco is aware it's a tier 2 start, because before this engagement, he had only seen a combat engineer squad, and that was it.
And that was a
Nice
nice little
three-prong
flank. Wow, three-prong flank. That Maxim didn't know where to hit it. He thought he had found himself a juicy little Grenadier to pin, but actually, a couple of Grenadiers coming in from the flanks is enough to send it packing, retreating all the way back home. It looks kind of comical with that guy pushing the Maxim. It's like those, yeah, it's like pushing a shopping trolley.
It's a trolley MG, just rolling around the
Trolley
field.
with a gun on it. Just...
Yeah, one Maxim went over to the left and one Maxim went over to the right, so it was completely unsupported in the center, so that three-pronged attack was extremely effective. He's got 2 Grens now on the left-hand side. There is a Maxim there, and he's most likely going to try to stop these Grens from getting the cut off. Maybe he's trying to set up, but he's not actually going to be able to shoot, because I wonder if he actually has... he has no line of sight on the capping Grenadier on that cut off on the left-hand side.
Ooh, a couple of point-blank range bursts from the Maxim weren't enough to suppress his Grenadier squad. This Maxim now just running all over it here with German infantry, but here comes some support now from the form of a conscript.
So three Maxim into 2 conscripts. The second conscript is just completed and he's going to exit the Soviet base now. And his first Maxim that was forced off the center is just hanging out in the base. I don't think he actually lost any men on it, but it's down to 50% health. So that Maxim right now, if another one of those 3-pronged attack happens, he's going to rapidly start losing men. So yeah, he's got to be careful.
He better hope that no one lobs a rifle grenade. He might very quickly lose an entire squad.
Yeah, and get it stolen and turned against himself instead. What about the German build order? Is it pure Grens?
It's an awful lot of Grens. Yeah, 5 Grenadiers.
5?
No evidence of any teching yet, and no evidence that he's building anything else either. Sitting on 86 fuel, so he could start building himself to tier 2, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's now teching to tier 2. So. But yeah, I mean, a lot of Grens. I don't know whether that's something that he just does anyway, or whether that's to counter the MGs. I don't know.
I think it's most likely generally what he goes for, probably. Because if you want to go for, especially if your opponent goes pure Maxims, no conscript support, getting a Flammenwerfer, what's he gonna do really? If he gets, 4 Maxims pointing at the Flammenwerfer, they can actually do decent damage against light vehicles. Like the Flammenwerfer. It takes quite a while because they're fairly armored compared to the German scout car. If you point 3 Maxims at a German scout car and doesn't move out of the way, it's gonna die very fast. Flammenwerfer will die eventually as well, but it's still a very solid hard counter to, pure Maxims. But obviously if the Maxims have conscript support, you can get 18-aided and that spells disaster usually.
We had a Grenadier. It was pinned for a good long time here by a Maxim. There's now another 2-man Grenadier trying to find a way through.
Well, if he tech tier 2, he can use rifle nades right now, but they're fairly spaced out, so even if he rifle naded at Maxim, I think he would only cause maybe 2 casualties to it, because the guys are actually spread out quite wide right now. There's a rifle nade.
There it is, and it does do a bit of damage there.
Guy.
But it does look like both those Grenadier squads are going to be sent packing, and Spanky moves in to solidify his control on the center.
Yeah, he was forced off the left-hand side, however. There was only 1 Maxim trying to defend, and he got flanked, so he was forced to retreat with that Maxim. It actually gained some veterancy, so we do have the first veterancy for one of the Maxims here, and 1 Maxim in the center. He also gained 1 veterancy, which actually gives them the ability to use sprint, like Ura, for example. It's basically the same thing, but for support weapon. I find it's kind of like sprint for snipers. It can be used to extremely good effect.
Yes, sprint, any kind of sort of fire up or sprint ability, it's all about how you use it, Firing up into the arc of an MG fire, never going to end too well. But
Not a
if you
good
use
idea.
it to pull off like an ultra mega flank, it can be really devastating.
Yeah, and it seems to that the territories are changing hands now. The right-hand side is locked down. There is a Maxim, but look at that Grenadier squad on the far right.
Sneaking all the way around.
He's gonna get in the building, and the Maxim's not gonna be able to do much against that. Spanky just notices that he gets in the building. He was doing a flank on the Maxim, and he's gonna go actually garrison a building of his own. At the same time, you know, it's basically 2 units that are locked down now, 1 from each player. So that's just nothing's really gonna happen there, I think. Maxim's gonna open up, but the Grens can just like vacate and hide behind the building, and the Maxim can't really leave the building in fear of being flanked.
Now Puco's doing something interesting here. He didn't stop off at tier 2. He's gone all the way to tier 3 now. He hasn't started building the building yet, but he has got the tech.
Interesting. Does he have the fuel though? Because he has lost his fuel outside of his base. He's regaining it right now. I see Spanky. He placed 2 mines. 1 to the left and 1 to the right of the VPs. There's actually 2, one in the forest as well. So, you know, he's doing a good job of creating sort of an unflankable stronghold here now. You know, if the Grens are coming in from behind on these Maxims now when they're facing towards the enemy base, you know, he's going to run into all of these mines.
More Maxim fire going down. All the Grenadiers just seem to be running into a brick wall of solid Russian defenses. But one of the Maxims in the center is finally set to retreat, and I see we have our first doctrinal unit on the field. It's a guard squad.
Yep, Spanky decided to go for, I believe it's motor coordination tactics. So that gives him guards, also the 120mm mortar. It's basically the same doctrine that I think Armstrong went with this in every single Soviet game he played in our tournament. It's guard motor coordination tactics. It's a 120mm mortar, guards, marked vehicle, vehicle crew repair, and a double T-34-85 column.
Yeah, those double T-34s were brutal. He used those to finish off more than one opponent in our tournament.
Yeah, he used them extremely efficiently as well. You know, he went for tier 4 to get that Su-85 against the medium armor. You know, if he allowed his opponent to get enough fuel to get a P4 on the field, he would have the Su-85. And then when he has dealt with the medium armor, you know, he rode on with the 2 T-34-85s, and all of a sudden, the German player doesn't have anything to efficiently combat that double call-in. And it just comes, you know, at a very bad moment, usually. When he feels like, you know, now I have something against these SU and the snipers, maybe I can combat this, and then all of a sudden 2 medium tanks rolls in, and it's like damn it, what just happened? Where did they come from? I thought he went tier 4. Oh wait, it's not the normal T-34s. It's the doctrinal one. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, and if you counter incorrectly, then you know you're in for a lot of hurt there.
Yeah, it can turn the tables quite fast if you get caught with your pants down when something like that rolls on, because you most likely built soft or hard counters to whatever your opponent has, and you can't just expect. It's very hard to tell whenever your opponent will be having the amount of resources needed to call it in. 720 manpower and 260 fuel. How long does that take if you build tier 4 and get 1 Su-85? What else did he spend fuel on, etc., etc.? When do I start building counters to what might come or might not come? It's almost an impossible scenario to foretell.
Especially when you've got so many doctrines that look very similar. You know, just seeing guards doesn't necessarily tell you that there's double T-34s on the way. It might be a doctrine that gives him guards and hit the dirt. So
yeah,
you never know. You got to keep guessing and try and work it out based on what you do see.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Some Grenadiers versus guards here. They do have the DP light machine gun, so they should be able to combat this Gren squad.
Puco has just made an interesting choice. He built his tier 3, but chose not to build anything out of it. Instead, just now queued up double snipers.
Double snipers against the max. I guess he was floating manpower. Doesn't he have enough fuel?
No, he does. He has 106 fuel, but I think he may have been hit with a little bit of Maxim rage. Yeah.
Well, the sniper's good against the guards, especially guards and shock troops. Snipers, you know, every bullet counts quite a lot. It's the same thing with the Soviet snipers against Panzer Grenadiers. You know, every bullet being 45 manpower. It becomes extremely cost efficient quite rapidly. But yeah, Puco looks a bit base pin right now, and one of the Maxims are up here at the front, and they basically cover the only exit out of the German base right now. He's going to be able to, if he spreads out his grants, probably to actually leave the base. And with this German sniper now, he's going to force Spanky to at least relocate the Maxim before he loses the entire squad. We have 2. Yeah, it's gonna be forced retreat. G43s for Puco.
Yes, he has gone for his G43s and his ambush camouflage.
Yeah, Jaeger infantry doctrine. Yeah, ambush camouflage. Does he have it on any of his grants? I very rarely see it. I see
It's the kind of thing I think
sometimes
that could be used to absolutely brutal effect. I mean, cloaked MG42s, I mean, you don't really need to say much more. But
No,
it is very situational, and you know, you've got to be very proactive in using it because it is an active ability. It's not passive. Is that correct? Or is it an active ability? I forget.
No, passive. You got to be in cover with your guys. So yellow cover and green cover. Oh, he's planted a demo at some of the bushes, and he's now planting mines all over the place here. So the center is a real stronghold for the Soviet player Spanky right now. But here is a Stug actually was the choice.
Yeah, he cancelled one of the snipers so that he could build a Stug instead, but is now deciding to go for the double snipers anyway. He's got his one sniper out, he's now building himself another one to accompany this Stug. I'm interested to see what does Spanky actually have against the Stug.
Su-85 is on the field, so he's had his tier 4 building up for a little while, and the first thing that he spent... Oh, that was a nice demo charge. It only killed 3 Grens, I think, or 2 even. I think one of the Grens died to a mine, so slightly unlucky there. He could have most likely annihilated the entire squad, but yeah, he only got 2 Grens out of that explosion. Not really cost efficient, considering the demo is 90 munitions, and he only killed 2 Grens, so...
Well, here it is, Su-85 versus Stug. First shot misses. Stug is now backing out of there. Su-85 gives chase and lands a huge hit on the frontal armor there.
Oh, he misses the third shot as well, but it doesn't require too many shots against this Stug to actually take it out, the Su-85.
Well, the Stug returns fire and gets a nice little hit off on the SU.
Oh, 2! The Su-85 is not hitting anything on the move. Here we go, nice long-range shot, takes it down to approximately 1/3 health. But he's backing into the base. But he doesn't actually have any other form of AT, does he? He has no Shreks, no packs.
Oh, and it gets abandoned. This is bad. If it gets, Spanky's going to stick around to try and take it down.
Yeah, you got to take it out. You got to take it out. Especially when it's abandoned in your enemy base. It's not like you're going to go in and steal it right there.
That's going to set Puco back quite significantly. I mean, he does have an army of grenadiers which could potentially bounce the SU, but it's not really viable.
It's far from cost effective. It doesn't do that much damage actually. The damaged engine is the major annoying part with 18-8s and Fausts. That's the thing that makes them worth using right now, I think. The damage itself, it's kind of so-so.
German sniper opening up. Oh, and the Maxim returns fire on the sniper, doing a lot of damage there. Now the guards are giving chase. This sniper might be forced to retreat.
Nice Pio flank on the Maxim. Actually forces it to retreat as there are Grens coming onto the field as well, and the guard squad is retreating as well. He's doing quite a good job with his G43 Grens. He's gotten a little bit of veterancy across the board. How is it looking exactly?
He's got a lot of Vet 1. Almost, yeah, in fact, all of his Grens have Vet 1 at this point, but nothing else. No other veterancy to speak of.
Oh, okay. It's so hard to tell if it's G43 Grenadiers or the sniper firing.
Yeah, it's the same weapon, isn't it?
Bullet?
It's just one of them's got a scope on it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, nice 120mm mortar round on a Grenadier squad. Is forced to retreat at 1 man just outside of the German base at that fuel point. German sniper still going to work. He's racking up a few kills. He's got 9 kills on one of them and 1 kill on the second. So that's 10 kills. He needs to do a little bit more than that to make them more cost efficient. Because right now, with 10 kills combined for 2 snipers. It was 10 kills on 1 sniper, that's good. But on 2, you know, it's 720 manpower for 2 snipers.
Yeah, he's going to need to do a lot more damage than that if he wants to make back that cost.
These mines, man. These mines. They're everywhere.
Oh, this Maxim just set up in just the right angle. Here we go. Nice little rifle grenade, but only kills 1 man.
Yeah, 1 man actually manning the Maxim and did a little bit of...
Whoa, Katyushas.
Katyusha. Gonna be all around the center at this capping. Gren very close to dying. Rocket lands right next to him, but he's not retreating that squad. He's busy on the left-hand side, fighting off this Maxim with another G43 Grenadier squad, and the 2 snipers are now on the left, and Spanky might be losing his first Maxim here. He's had some very nice unit preservation. He's actually gonna get out of the way.
He is going to get out of there, just about, pushing his shopping trolley all the way back to base.
You gotta run faster than that.
You gotta get that milk back to Grandma.
Yeah. She's waiting. She's been waiting the entire day.
She's waiting for her Maxim. you know how those old ladies are.
An M3 actually building now, because Spanky's been backticked to tier 1 special rifle command and is now building an M3. It might be to make his guards a bit more,
or maybe a counter sniper.
That might work. There's a scout car at least. See what he decides to do with this scout car. If he's
maybe he wants to put a sniper in there, get a M3 sniper combo. It would probably do a pretty good number on those German snipers.
I'm not exactly sure of the possibility of units getting sniped in M3s, but I know it can happen. I've seen Soviet sniper or Axis sniper, snipe a sniper out of an M3. Katusha opens up on the left-hand side. It was after some Grens capping that munitions point, but they had
well out of the way. Yeah,
they were nowhere
near damage.
So. German snipers on the right-hand side.
Yep, the double sniper team.
One of the Maxims.
Going to work on this poor Maxim, which it probably ought to get out of the way sooner rather than later.
Yeah, he's forced to vacate. So now Puco can actually start capping some territory on the right-hand side as well. He's actually wrapped around and connected that munitions point by taking one of the
Bet 3 Maxim.
Bet 3.
Bet 3 Maxim on the right-hand side. That's insane.
He's been dealing quite a lot of damage when he's suppressing the German infantry squad, all of these grenadiers. I'm still quite surprised that Puco didn't go for the Flammenwerfer. I think he could have gotten it out before the first guard squad was on the field, or the only guard squad was on the field.
And even if the guard squad did beat him to it, he could probably still take it. One guard squad, I mean,
with support.
The half-track has a lot of health.
Yeah, quite a lot of health, fairly good armor, and if you stay away from the 18-8s, you can easily just outrun the guard squad. They can't pursue you on foot. And as Spanky went for tier 2, he couldn't get the M3s. Guard squad with an M3 with a guard squad, really good counter to the Flammenwerfer half-track, because you can pursue it. That's the main difference, really. And obviously it protects your guard squad somewhat.
Yeah.
But these snipers, it's going to be very expensive to reinforce these guards. It's 30 manpower per sniper shot right now. And here comes the scout car. Is it going to go after these snipers? The snipers are not retreating.
Yes, he's
they
going
should
to.
be
He's
seeing
going to
it.
get
There
chase
we
it.
go. He might be able. No, it's too far away. He retreated fast enough. It looked a bit dicey, but yeah, it was good enough, I guess.
It was indeed good enough. And actually, look at this. I mean, we've gone from Spanky having about 90% of the map to Puco actually evening things out again. I don't know, it looks about 50-50.
Somewhat, yeah. He's got a fuel OP as well, something that Spanky doesn't. So he's only had the fuel territories on the map, so to speak. He's never had an OP, so... he's had the enemy fuel outside of the German base now and then, but not really, not all the time at least. So I think, fuel-wise, I see there's a Stug on the field again. Not exactly sure about that.
Second Stug is going to be joining it pretty soon.
But with pack support, the Su-85 is not going to be able to actually combat that Stug because, it can't actually chase after him if the pack is supporting him. Yeah, it's a little bit, you got to consider line of sight as well. Using the ability on the Su-85, you get the focus sight, which basically enables you to look further forward, but basically cuts out all of the line of sight around your tank. There's this Vet 3 Maxim now on the right-hand side against these snipers. They're trying to dislodge him, but he might be... both snipers actually misses. A 50% chance to hit units in buildings. Here comes the Katusha. The snipers instantly retreats. Good choice, but this pack, newly produced, might actually be lost instantly, and it is. Rifle Nades goes in on that Vet 3 Maxim. He's going to vacate the house. He doesn't fancy losing that veterancy. Fuel outside of the German base is being taken by one of the other Maxims from Spanky, unvetted. I'm not exactly sure if he recruited that maybe, or if he just hasn't actually seen much combat with that specific Maxim. He only has 1 kill. And the German player now with his Grenadiers, they look to be all equipped with G43s as well. He's doing a wraparound here, but here is an M3, and it actually has a Soviet sniper inside it right now, and that's going to be a good counter to these vetted Grenadiers, because they're basically not going to be able to retaliate against this M3 as long as it's kept at longer ranges. The G43 seems to be doing quite a lot of damage versus the M3 light armor, however.
Oh, combat engineer squad was executed trying to chase down a couple of snipers, a couple of German snipers. Doesn't tend to work when you have a 4-man squad, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, generally not, but I guess we did have a Vet 2 G43 equipped Grenadier squad actually getting taken out by an Su-85. I'm not exactly sure why he was hanging around, he must have forgotten about it or something. The Katusha now bombarding us outside of the German base. Not exactly sure what he was targeting. Was the snipers there before? Was that where he lost the combat engineer?
Yeah, around there, yeah. Maybe a bit of a shot in the dark, but now the snipers are over here on the right-hand side, going to work on a conscript squad in the building there.
He's forced to retreat. So annoying. There's like a 1-man Gren squad which is going to go capping now, and he has nothing over there to combat it. He's going to send his sniper car over, so the M3 with the Soviet sniper team is here on the field now. He hasn't been able to get the
sniper car he was going for.
Yeah, eventually it came there when I had enough manpower to do it. Got a second sniper on the left-hand side as well.
Yeah, I see that operating here on the left-hand side.
I'm checking out the center right now if you want to check out the right-hand side. Yeah, there goes the Vet 2 Grenadier is killed by the sniper car on the right. German sniper is going to work in the center, however, but there is nothing to kill this Su-85. Where are the Stugs? On the left?
Whoa! Conscript squad executed on retreat there by the double sniper teams there. We have a huge flank coming in now. M3 scout car coming in right behind these German snipers.
Look at the G43s. They're doing decent damage against these M3s. What is this? I never even considered getting...
Yeah, they are.
Look at it.
Pretty serious damage there.
Doing a lot of damage. Soviet sniper try to take aim on the retreating German snipers.
Oh, he does get him executed on retreat. So as long as he can stay alive, now it'll be worth it.
It's going to be pursued by the G43 equipped Grenadiers. One goes down, spotter is down, sniper running for her life. She might be able to get out of the way. Very lucky.
Oh, wow. That was fortunate. I thought the pack was going to nail her.
Could have happened. Could have happened. Katusha opening up.
From the Katusha.
And the pack, not a bad position, considering it's generally quite stationary. It's quite hard to get out of the way of artillery barrages. Here comes the second sniper team now, however. There is only one Su-85 on the field. It does have a damage engine since it was Fausted before. So 2 Stugs should be able to get this Su-85, especially combined with the pack. But the pack is moving back to be reinforced at the base, I am guessing at least.
No, he's coming forwards now. Coming towards the Su-85. I don't...
It's the second Stug.
I don't know both of them
at
honestly.
the same time.
The second Stug is so far behind.
Yeah.
One of the Stugs just gets taken out with ease.
He needed to time that better and get in at the same time and not feed them one by one, because the Su-85 is still going to beat the Stug in a 1v1 situation.
This is not looking good.
Yeah, now he's getting veterancy as well.
He's now backing out, but I think he might be, I don't know, this is looking really bad.
He's hiding behind the hitch. Guard squad is coming up. He might get a shot off before he gets out of range. Let's see, Su-85 lights up the shot and gets it. Second Stug out of the picture.
And suddenly Puco's army looking very, very small. Down to 2 Grens, 2 snipers, and a pack. That's it. And that's down from about 5 Grens and 2 Stugs and the rest. He's now getting himself a P4, but surely a P4 is just going to get fed to the Su-85s.
Well, with a damaged engine, the Su-85 has a hard time against circle strafing, obviously. Especially on this map where there's not that many roads, and the Su-85 is generally just protecting the center, and there's no roads in the center. So you could easily circle strafe it, but at the same time, he has support. You know, if you get buttoned by the guards, you're not going to go circle strafing nothing.
No, that's right.
But he should have built P4s instead of the two Stugs. If he had two P4s instead of the two Stugs, because they're fairly similar in price. It's 95 for the Stug, I believe, and 115 for the P4. He should have been able to wait for, you know, that additional 40 fuel to get two P4s instead of two Stugs. But he didn't. And I think that might have been the deciding factor of this game right now. This might cost him the game in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Spanky's moving up now, virtually unopposed. Puco really having to lean very heavily on his double snipers to do the legwork, and they can't be everywhere at once.
No, it's impossible. He's losing map control yet again. That 3 Grenadiers, though, with the G43s. 12 kills, with quite a lot of damage done.
Here comes the P4 now. Going to be able to do a bit of anti-infantry damage. It'll be good against these guards. That's one thing it will be very good against. But is it all a little too late?
That was an odd button. Button retreat! It's a new tactic.
Maybe he's trying to psych out Puco. Just
I don't know.
Like, ooh, I'm unpredictable. You never know what I'm gonna do. Maybe
I think he considered that it's just gonna be the P4 without Grenadier support, and he saw the Grens and was like, nope, not having none of that. I'm getting out of here. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's quite possible. We have more G43s, more Grenadiers. A new squad, fresh squad was built to replace the many that went down before.
Got 3 Maxim in the center, capping that fuel. He needs to retreat. The 2 snipers are there. He's down to 1 man. It's 1 guy left on that heroic Maxim squad from Spanky. It is dead.
That's
Hans
a shame. That's
goes
a mighty
up.
shame.
That was not far from point blank almost. He could have just kept running a little bit further and just like executed him properly.
Like a commissar execution. Just
yeah,
to the
almost.
Head. He's trying to chase him now with the M3. He knows roughly where they are.
Ooh, this is gonna be dicey. The M3 gonna come in from behind.
This isn't good. This is not good at all. This isn't even a little bit good. He's gonna retreat, but I don't know. He's really up shit creek now. If he survives this, it's gonna be a miracle.
It might be because of the hedges or something. Shot blockers might work in his favor, but apart from that,
slow him down. Whoa! Sniped from a moving car. Someone give that Soviet sniper man a medal.
Oh, the pack is set up right in front of M3, and the Soviet snipers dies inside. A recent change in the latest patch when we record this, the July 10th patch, where there's actually a percentage chance of the entities inside of half-tracks dying due to them dying themselves. So,
and I believe that's actually calculated on a per entity basis. So if you had a whole guard squad in there, you wouldn't. It's almost certain that you wouldn't lose the whole squad. But if you're doing some kind of sniper griefing stuff or with a combat engineer, then your chances are much higher.
I think it's 50% per entity chance of dying.
Yes, and obviously when you've got a 6-man squad, the odds of losing the whole squad at once
it goes down.
Pretty mighty.
Yeah. Got a Katusha barrage against these Grens that was actually already forced to retreat, but he might get a little bit of splash damage done on this P4. 1 German sniper remaining is going to move out over to the right-hand side to try and support these Grenadiers. Yeah, he thought better of it. I'm not going to combat and Maxim with my own infantry. It's not going to work.
That's it. Fully reinforced.
Well, Puco has he's up to his unit composition now: 3 Grens, 2 snipers, a pack, and a P4. Nothing else really building at the moment. These Grenadiers are bleeding so heavily that it's just everything he can do to keep them reinforced and in the field. And actually, if you look at the VPs, he's beginning to drain pretty hard now. Just dipped below 150, while Spanky's still sitting comfy at 456.
Yeah, when it comes to the VPs, the right-hand side bottom VP especially has almost always at least, been in Spanky's control, so he hasn't led that many. While he has had a triple cap on the enemy now and then, so Puco has been bleeding.
Oh no, Puco stuck around to try and get a Faust off, and he paid for it with the loss of a whole new squad. That was his last vetted infantry squad.
Oh no, so vet 3-1, or did he lose that before?
I believe it was, I don't know, but nothing he has now is vetted except for his pack, which only has vet 1.
So he's got 2 snipers, P4, he's got a pack.
2 snipers, 2 Grens,
1 Gren,
pack,
2
and
Gren.
P4. That's his army right now. Oh
Spanky's
god, this
army.
P4 has just been... He's just found the worst possible place to be. In a
But in
IS,
2 SUs is too
85
much.
sandwich.
1, no problem, you can circle straight that, you know, forever until support comes in. But 2, much harder. And he's gonna get 18-8 now if Spanky actually has an upgrade, and he does.
He does.
So here comes the 18-8. No more social strafing for that P4. He's hiding behind the shot blocker, but I'm not sure. The pack is actually capping the fuel point and it's not moving up right now. So these SUs are most likely gonna be safe. Main gun destroyed. Axis sniper moving up to take shots at this Maxim. P4's down. I think Puco is most likely out of this game right now. He's got nothing to fight with almost left on the field.
Oh, and he could. Oh, he does actually lose a whole sniper to a Katusha as well.
Oh.
Just salt in the wound
Oh,
right there.
was close to retrieving sniper as well. 120mm mortar barrage as well. Here comes one of the M3s. It's got an engineer in it, a combat engineer with no flamer though, so
And that
basically
is
like
actually game over.
yeah. Well, Spanky's army was fairly healthy. He lost a conscript squad, you know, he lost his Vet 3 Maxim, he recruited, you know, he lost another Maxim, he lost a sniper and an M3 here or there, but the SUs, especially the Vet 2 one, stayed alive for the entire game. Katusha was never in danger at all. He polished off a lot of Grenadier squads. Puco just basically didn't have any mainline infantry left to fight with, especially not against Maxims.
No, it was a very tough position for him to be in, and I think this map as well, the sort of the almost lane-like layout of it also caters
like
quite
lanes.
well to good MG42 usage, which Spanky took good advantage of, and Puco didn't. You know, he didn't build a single MG42.
Yeah, there was Maxim on the field, not a bad idea for this map. You can lock it down the lanes, especially. Obviously, you can still get flanked, as we saw in the initial stages of the game when, you know, the three, almost four-pronged attack came in. You know, a Maxim is just going to get out of it right there. You're not going to be able to fend off pronged attacks like that. But after a while, you know, when you can stabilize, especially when you get conscript support, I think, you know, that helps Spanky quite a lot, because that can protect the flanks and also using the mines to protect, you know, behind your Maxims. So if you get attacked from the rear, you have the mines to protect your Maxims as well. That's, you know, I think that's what makes this work. But
Yeah,
I was surprised to not see any MG42s, especially on this map.
Yeah, I know Spanky's been working on this strategy for a good long while, and it seems like he's got it down pretty well. You know, he's got a good fluid motion to it, and I think we saw that executed very well in this game.
Yeah, very nice game, nicely played from both players until, you know, it started, you know, a bit of a snowball effect when he started losing Grens here and there, and then all of a sudden, and obviously I think one of the major deciding factors was going for the two Stugs and then, you know, piecemeal feed him one by one into the SU.
Yeah, it was a very painful moment, that, and no, it didn't serve him very well at all.
No.
But well, thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game here on Minx Pocket, a game, a map that we haven't really showcased it a whole lot yet on TFN. Obviously, we are now into Season 3. The map pool grows every day, it feels like, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you more maps like this and more, any new ones that are coming soon as well. So do keep on checking them out. The shoutcasts are going to be coming in thick and fast once again after our month's vacation. So do keep an eye out, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.